Welcome to the Richmond Events podcast, where we take you inside the UK's most exclusive business forums. You'll get to meet the delegates, suppliers and speakers shaping their industries. Richmond Events, this is where business gets done.
Hello and welcome to the Logistics and Supply Chain Forum here at Richmond Events. I'm joined by Jonathan. Jonathan, welcome.
Hi, thank you very much indeed.
So tell us your business and what brings you along to the event today.
So I run a company called Simply Supply Chain, and this year we launched a new software platform, and in fact we're given the opportunity to talk to what we've been doing with Asda, the presentation this afternoon, which is looking making the world of cost to serve, changing it, turning it upside down and actually making it truly actionable rather than just a piece of financial tool.
Amazing. So something that happens with Richmond is there's a vote that gets put out to the delegates about the talks, and your talk actually won. What do you think it was about your discussion that people were looking forward to? I
think two things. I like to think the title was quite challenging. So turning the world upside down with Asda clearly has a grab. It is a revolutionary way of actually dealing with something, and we've managed to achieve some very successful results with Asda. So I think, to be honest, the other major attraction is probably having somebody from Asda being able to explain exactly what went on. So it's not just a consultant trying to just beef up what they might have done.
So what is it that you're seeing? Why did you create this solution for the problem?
Fundamentally because it doesn't exist. So I suppose, simply put, cost to serve, and this gets boringly technical, but it often means that you take a big cost and attribute it to products as they move through the network, which means you get an average cost of things, and it points you to an area where it might be more expensive than others, but it doesn't tell you what to do about it. Whereas we've actually modelled it from the bottom up at product level. So it actually gives you what we refer to as a true cost to serve, which identifies what you can actually do to change those costs and therefore fundamentally take 15 to 20% of the cost out, as opposed to identifying the problem but not showing what to do.
And this is the importance of events like the forum today, isn't it? Is ultimately you've seen a problem, found a solution, and these people have the same problems or can have the same problems.
Yeah, look, one of the challenges we've had is supply chain is complex. It's often difficult to explain a new concept to people. And I have to say, today we've worked hard to try and simplify the messaging and get it understandable. We've been fortunate enough, though, thus far to meet with some people who recognise the challenge, understand the problem, and we've been able to explain to them in words that they understand of how our approach is different and what we can do. So so far very encouraging with the response that we've had from people to the way we've described things.
How often do opportunities like this come up where you are sat in a room with anywhere from 50 to 150 delegates with that problem? Yeah,
look, it's difficult often to get to senior people, and having that time where they have enough attention and focus on wanting to explore things just outside the day job. So yeah, no, it's a great opportunity to meet. As I said, there's a raft of people here. The difficulty is always trying to fit more people in rather than fewer, but no, it's a great way of bringing everybody together.
So what do you see as the next challenge in the industry?
I guess, so there are two things, I suppose. The amount of data is there's so much transactional data. There's very little understanding of how that data impacts costs at a true level. I'm bound to say that. But I guess the other thing is that there's a lot spoken around AI and how it's going to change supply chains. The bit that I fear, I suppose, is that there are lots of people talking about AI and being grand solutions and big solutions, but often it's starting at the smaller end of understanding what you can standardise and automate to really get the benefit from AI. We've fortunate enough to have AI-enabled technology which allows us to run our tools repeatedly, frequently, and in a way that will affect the operational costs of the business. But we're not trying to boil the ocean. We're not trying to go too far, because at the end of the day, people need something that they can action and do with the teams that they've got, rather than having to invest huge amounts of time and resources in the hope that they'll get something that's better.
And a lot of what we're hearing today in the discussions we have as well is defining the difference there between the AI and the automation, and seeing what comes where and when what one fits where. Yeah,
look, I think AI works brilliantly on being able to automate those non-value add tasks, particularly around administration. We do a lot of work with suppliers in particular, of understanding how they can automate the handling of their orders and their customer service teams to be able to create the resource to invest in the added value piece, which is often the bit that's missing. So the challenge of so many companies is that there's a huge amount of time spent managing orders, rather than talking to their customers about what they could do differently and how to make that. So if we can use AI to automate and improve those transactional processes, we can take cost out, but more importantly, you can reinvest in that, in looking at the collaborative solutions that will actually change the cost dial between them.
Incredible. Jonathan, thank you so much for joining us today. It's
My
been a real
absolute
pleasure to talk to you.
Likewise. Thank you.